Good morning, Brian. It's nice to see you this morning, and
thank you for joining me.
I can't tell you how excited I am to be on the inaugural show and the name of your show.
The premiere, Observer Now. So
Observer Now.
We're going to try to do this every week for the next 5 weeks, and if people tune in, maybe we'll do it longer. I am monitoring Facebook here, so if we catch any comments, maybe we can answer them. And if you have anything directly to say to the mayor, then you can tune in. So first off, I have something to surprise the mayor with. This is a letter that was sent, handwritten by a 5th grader in Palm Coast. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Mr. Alfin, hello, my name is Meadow Haggerty, and I'm a 5th grade student at Wadsworth Elementary School. I would like to say, me and my mother were driving down Palm Coast Parkway, and there was a sign that said men working, but there were women on the site. In all, I would like to request to change the signs to say workers present, or something equal to women too. Thank you so much for your time. Signed, Meadow Haggerty. Do you have any comments for Megan?
I absolutely do. I think that young person is extremely observant, and I think a really good indicator for all of us that have grown in years to understand that the next generation looks at things very differently than we did. There's a very big generational advancement. I have a daughter who recently graduated from UCF, as a matter of fact, and I know even there at that age that the way our youth looks and visions the future is very different from the foundings that we come from. So I think it's very important. I'm thrilled.
You gonna make the change?
I think I would absolutely ask, because our listeners know we have our own sign shop, and we can absolutely make that change.
That's true.
So this could be the first result of your new show.
Meadow, right? Yeah, Meadow Haggerty. Thank you for that letter. That was awesome. We're going to publish
incredible.
We're going to publish that in next week's Observer. So we are talking today about the April 1 edition of the Palm Coast Observer.
April Fools.
Or is it? Did I trick you on any of these?
I wasn't.
Say yes.
Of course.
Just say yes.
Of course. I was expecting it tomorrow as opposed to today, but the Observer was published early, which is good.
We don't come out on Fridays.
The news gets to us sooner.
Yeah, every year when we do our April Fool's edition, it's very creative on exactly when it shows up. You never know if it'll be. But we decided to do it the week before April 1st every time. So hopefully you got tricked, and hopefully you didn't get too mad, but they're all in good fun. So the real front page looks actually more like this, not like the front.
And I thought, I'm not going to let you get off the hook that easy.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to describe to us that you chose some of the Gotcha April Fool's pieces to tie in and help us all think a little bit more about current topics.
There is some satire.
I thought there was.
In some of those issues. The most probably being the bottom one here. The man who's fed up with so much growth, so he decides to take apart his
house to free up some space for his neighbors to look at his empty lot. Yep.
I moved here because I wanted to be alone, says Jack Faltrades. Have you ever heard anybody say something similar, that they moved here to be alone?
Moved here to be alone. Well, I hear a lot of different things from a lot of different people, and I try to listen intently. So, yeah, to varying degrees, I actually have heard things like that.
Turns out that when you move here, other people do too sometimes.
So, and just to point that out, there actually are spaces within the city limits of Palm Coast that allow you to do just that. So you have to carefully choose where you want to live today and where that property may be tomorrow. But we have the ability to offer that to people relocating to the area.
Right on. Okay, so one thing I wanted to mention about the front page. So every week we spend a lot of time figuring out like what goes here, what goes here, what goes here. And the top story was in part put there, Beach Hotel Design Earns Praise, because it got a lot of traction on the website. And that story did. We usually publish everything a few days before and then collect it and rearrange it in print. So what I'm wondering is, do you think that is a Palm Coast centric? Do Palm Coast readers care about that story? This is a Flagler Beach hotel.
So
is that like, well, that's Flagler Beach. We're not so worried about that here because I live in the R section or the L section.
So for those of you listening and who have listened to me, I take a regional approach to the vision of the city of Palm Coast. So rarely does a resident of the city care or identify the fact that they've stepped over a city line, a county line, or a municipal line. So I consider Flagler Beach to be a component of our regional economic vision here. So things that happen good on Flagler Beach benefit Palm Coast and vice versa. If we do things here that encourage people to visit locally, they will enjoy Flagler Beach as well. I think that we need to take a more regional approach. Part of the vision is to make Palm Coast a destination for a variety of things in order to ensure the economy grows properly and well for the future.
Which is more likely to be a destination if you include, hey, we have a beach, even though technically we don't have a beach in Palm Coast proper, but
well,
I get your point.
Let me add to that. So for our next trivia night, for those listening, where is the closest I-95 exchange to the Atlantic Ocean on the eastern seaboard of the United States?
Volusia?
The answer is Palm Coast.
Palm Coast.
Closest to the Atlantic Ocean.
the 100 bridge?
Correct.
Very good. Okay, so moving on to the next page, page 4, there is some video of a tour, hard hat tour, that Rodrigo and Mena from the PMG studio recorded. There's a drone shot, so that'll come up on the screen soon, I hope.
And this is where you all flew all the way to Rome.
There we go. I know, it looks like Colosseum, doesn't it? It's very cool. So you've been on this site, right?
Yes, I have.
What do you
I was there for the
about
groundbreaking, actually.
Very good. Those walls just appeared overnight, it seems like, when the first ones that showed up. It was pretty cool.
I mean, the company that designed this is, the engineering is incredibly, it's almost futuristic. Those actual panels were poured on site, cured, and then they are put up. Some people have complained that the metal poles that are holding them up for the time being
they look like toothpicks.
Are dangerous, or toothpicks. I can assure you they are very strong, and I'm an engineer. The flooring and the cross beams will more than support that, but that's actually more a safety feature.
I kind of dream of running through and knocking them all off, like with my arm.
I think if you went there even with a sledgehammer, you wouldn't make a dent.
Well, I mean, it depends on who does it, I guess. But so this is a $164 million hospital. It's going to open next spring. It's right on Palm Coast Parkway. As you can see, like, there's a Wendy's nearby. Across the street, by the way, there's a little building in the top left there.
Yes.
That's going to be a Goodwill.
Yes, it will. It's a move.
Is it a move? That's what we're trying to figure out.
So the answer is the Goodwill, the present location has been sold or is selling.
Gotcha.
And they are moving into new digs, which are located near the hospital.
Brand new building across
So the real question I have for you, the race is on. Will the Sheriff's Operations Center or the new hospital be finished first?
I haven't been to the Operations Center in a while.
You'll have to take a look.
Is it also going up?
It absolutely is.
That's cool.
Take a look down. So the state just funded Commercial Boulevard from US 1 through Bunnell over to 100. So take a look over there, and you and I will have to put a bet down on who finishes first.
We're actually not supposed to talk about that until page 11. So
no, this is not scripted.
Sit tight. Just sit tight. 400 jobs at the hospital. So
I heard that's a big decrease from the first announcement, which was at 700. So I'm kind of still banking on 500. So you've heard a sound bit of mine on the radio that says that for each 100-bed hospital, there will be 500 jobs created.
If not, Mayor David Alfin will hire the remaining 100.
And where do those employees come from, Brian?
All over the county.
Well, they come from our MedNexus and our Town Center initiatives. Yep. We have nursing classes going on in Town Center at this very moment to employ at the new hospitals.
I knew this would lead into a MedNex conversation because you always want to talk about MedNex. Anyway, moving on to page 5. This is the headline says, "City needs more money for road maintenance." And I was wondering, have you driven on Matanzas Woods Parkway lately? Because I
So-
live up there and it is rough.
I live just north of Matanzas Woods Parkway, and I travel on Matanzas Woods Parkway not a lot, every single day, and multiple times every day.
But
yes.
you've noticed that it's a little bit...
To be honest, the only time that I really notice is the hours when the Matanzas High School lets out. There's a lineup, and it may cost me 2 to 3 minutes. Now, I also have lived in other parts of the country, including the Northeast, and 2 to 3 minutes in my day is very important. But I don't find the sacrifice of that time worthy of the millions and millions of dollars necessary to widen the road at this moment in time.
Yeah.
In the future, absolutely, and we actually have a plan for widening Matanzas Woods, which will lead us into, I'm sure, Brian's future comment on westward expansion.
Yes, eventually we'll move west. It did not get state funding for those westward
In this cycle.
extensions yet, but one thing that I thought was pretty interesting from this story, Carl Cody, what is Carl Cody's title? Let's see.
Director of Stormwater Management.
Yes.
And he's got another title as well.
Engineering Director.
Yes.
Also. So anyway, he pointed out that over the past 15 years, we've added countless traffic signals throughout the city. And as those age, they need upkeep, they need replacement. That costs a lot of money. There's a lot of traffic lights. So I think that'll be interesting to kind of keep up with. Also,
and there's also new technology associated with that equipment.
Yeah.
In other words, it's not just a matter of refurbishing those old lights. You'll see the Old Kings project that we just completed, phase 1, nearest to Palm Coast Parkway, has new types of traffic signals that will allow us to coordinate and schedule and improve traffic flow.
Carl Cody also reported that there would be additional parking at the community center eventually.
So that's a plan that actually came up in our strategic action plan. The question is exactly where. No, parking garage, probably not 2 floors, but there is some land available in very close proximity, and it's desperately needed. The community center has been so successful and booked so many events that we can't keep up with the demand for traffic. Now, if the autonomous vehicles and Uber will pick up their speed, that will help, which is a vision for the future.
Could be. Okay, so page 6 had an awesome interview or awesome conversation. You can judge if it was a great interview or not, but with Cesar Campana, former FPC coach and now novelist. So you can read that. It's on page 6. But I wanted to talk about these letters. There's 2 letters about pay raises.
Yeah.
Let me read 2 comments. One, Phil Yautz, or Yautz, I'm not sure how to pronounce his name, Y-O-U-T-Z. He wrote, in the corporate world, raises are earned due to meeting performance and profit goals. Do you think that is a valid consideration? Because there's a lot of residents who can point stuff like that out.
Sure.
Do you think that's
so
valid?
I think it's a very good comment, and my immediate reaction to that would be, City of Palm Coast was just voted the #1 retirement community in the entire United States. So I would think that would be one of many performance indicators that you might use to value the work of City Council.
Could you imagine getting a pay cut?
Imagine getting a bit. Well, it would
if
be
performance measures went
so.
down.
The answer is yes, of course. It should go both ways, but at the present level, it would be difficult to trim much from the stipend that
City council
is offered.
members get $9,600 a year.
Correct, and no benefits, by the way, not one of any kind.
So are you ready for the insult of the week?
Yes, please.
Okay, this one is by Douglas R. Glover. He's a frequent, I don't think he would object to this, a cranky letter writer. I think he's even described himself that way at times.
I'm glad you said it, not me, but go ahead.
So Douglas R. Glover, if you're watching, I'm going to read your great insult of the week. So here's what he described. He said that city council members don't really do that much work. And he said, sitting on your rear end, pretending to listen to people berate you isn't work. Your comment to his insult.
So, thank you for the insult. Not not well thought through and no homework done. So I'll share this with Brian. So
Don't
Brian can
insult
hold
Douglas.
this up
Don't insult Douglas.
and just flip through the pages on that, and that would be my schedule, which I'm going to put against anybody else's schedule in town to find out how many events do you do. I've had 183 requests for personal appearances since I took office, and we've not turned anyone down yet. So my day is probably 60 to 70 hours per week if we put it on the clock right now.
Well, you had this whole week off, December 21 to December 25, so...
It's kind of a habit to celebrate the Lord's birth.
I agree. Okay, so if we turn to page 8, there's a false bomb threat at the Flagler Beach Pier. And it got resolved, but so here's what happened. A guy reported that he'd set 6 pipe bombs beneath the end of the pier and that he had a handgun. If you're just joining us, that did not happen. So please do not fret. In fact, let's reintroduce. You're watching Observer now. It's This Week in the Palm Coast Observer. It's a brand new show, hopefully interactive. I don't see any comments. I don't know if they're showing up on some other way, but that's okay. If you have anything to say, you can send them on the Facebook Live, or you can send me an email, or Mayor David Alfin.
May I make a comment?
Yeah, please do.
So I'm very excited about this show, and I'll tell you why. It gives us a chance, and perhaps future guests a chance, to go through the Observer newspaper literally when it's fresh, hot off the press, and talk about those events that have just happened. I mean, I think that's great to talk about in almost real time what's going on in the community. I've been a big fan of trying to build community to bring back our neighborhoods, and what better way than to take pieces out of the local newspaper and talk about them live and receive comments. So please feel free to comment. It's like good, bad, we will field them all.
Right on. So somebody made a false bomb threat at the Flagler Beach Pier on Sunday. And here's what I wanted to bring up about that. This is what people maybe don't always think about. Here's who responded: the Flagler Beach Police Department, Flagler Beach Fire Department, Flagler County Sheriff's Office evacuated people from the pier and diverted car traffic. A K-9 team was brought in. An explosive ordnance disposal team from St. Johns County came in and didn't find anything. But talk about a disruption, and that's not cheap.
Very expensive.
When you get these kind of threats, it's kind of infuriating, because it distracts so many people who are doing an important job. So don't make any false bomb threats. That's my PSA.
Good.
In a similar vein, in our Cops Corner this week, an 18-year-old driver recently bought a truck and drove through some swales and wrecked them, and it cost $5,000 worth of sod. But he said he drove through that area to, quote, have fun, unquote. And I wondered if you'd ever done anything similar.
So I have to be honest, and I hope it doesn't. I hope you won't think less of me. I have never done a donut. I have never intentionally driven on soft turf for the purpose of turning it over. I will tell you this: that at my home we actually do have a tractor and a brush hog, and we do take care of the property, because it's important to keep the land as well manicured as we can. But donuts and digging up turf, no. Seems to be a big activity. There are four-wheelers all over Palm Coast.
Mud bogging?
For all of the development, it's hard for me to explain that we have so much land that kids and adults can enjoy on four-wheelers, but on any given weekend, I can point out all kinds of four-wheeler tracks.
So you see the Flagler Health building the land's been cleared at Belterre and Matanzas Woods. I drive by that all the time.
Yes.
So we both live up there, I guess. But that looks like great area for four-wheeling.
It does.
I shouldn't say that, because if someone does
please don't.
Anyway, we'll move on from that. Strike that from the record. Diana McLemore is watching. Looking forward to continue to watch. Thank you for chiming in, and thank you for watching. Sabrina Crosby recently retired. She's been with the school district for a long time. I don't know if it says how many years in the story. But congratulations on a great career, Sabrina.
Sabrina has
Super nice, one of the nicest ladies you'll meet.
she's been so much a part of the community engagement between the school district and the community for so many years. And I can just tell you very quickly, I had the good fortune to be near and around Sabrina years ago at the housing fair at FPC High School, where a student was in trouble and needed a counselor in a quick hurry. Somebody mentioned to her, and she was quick to respond, and for all I know, could have helped straighten out that person and put them on the right track. So kudos to her. Thank you.
Yeah, very, very kind person, done a lot of work in the community. On page 11, we have a story about Andy Dance. He was a guest on Free for All Friday last week, and he pointed out this kind of resolution that the county and the school district had finally come to about impact fees. So impact fees, it's a one-time fee for a new house, and it used to be like $3,600, and now it's up to $5,400. So there was a lot of disagreement about that, but what I wanted to point out here is that they came to a compromise. A solution was proposed that is, the question is, how many students are really coming to Palm Coast and Flagler schools? And instead of just saying, well, we think it's going to be this many, and no, we don't think it's going to be that many, it's now going to be based on sort of like a performance-based increment. So if there are 500 students that come, then the impact fee does go up $500. And if they don't, then it just stays at the agreed upon $5,400. And I just think that is a really fantastic compromise, and it's government at work for.
So it is a good. It is a collaboration. The only piece, because sometimes you have to dig down in the weeds a little deeper, is with that system. You have to also understand that the Florida Education Department through the state requires, it takes at least 5 years and perhaps longer to actually build a school. Mm-hmm. You can't just decide to build one like we're doing with the hospital here. So you'd have to have some money in the bank, and you'd have to be prepared to forecast and plan that out over an extended timeline. If you wait until the 500 kids are here to earn that money, you'll be 5 years behind the 8 ball in terms of having the school ready. So there is a timing piece, but the fact that the school district and the county commission collaborates goes back to what we said originally about regionally collaborating for the good of the community.
I don't think anyone who was involved in that process is totally pleased at how long it took, but we're moving on, and hopefully things will go well there. Flagler officials react to the $19 million in state funding coming here from the recent state budget. We're getting money for septic conversion in the northeast part of the county in the Hammock. We're also getting $4.5 million for the Florida Agricultural Museum expansion project. Just as a plug for the show on WNZF tomorrow on Friday, Kara Hoblick, who's the executive director of the Ag Museum, is going to be a guest, and she'll talk more about that. But what does the Ag Museum do for Palm Coast?
Well, I'm pleased.
I know you're up there and you're a horse guy, so you love it, right?
I am, but even better than that, I have recently been appointed a trustee of the Florida Agricultural Museum. So what is the Florida Agricultural Museum?
Not the Flagler Agricultural Museum.
Florida. The
State.
only Florida Agricultural Museum. So what does it mean for us here in the community in the future? Because I'm afraid that many of our listeners may not even be aware of its location. You know, it's up at the end of Old Kings Road, where it comes together with US 1 in the northernmost part of our county. So the future is very, very bright. There's a project underway with funding just beginning to make the Florida Agricultural Museum a destination. It's a place you'll want to stop to on the way to Orlando or on the way back from Orlando. We think some big stakeholders within the state will help us create pavilions, if you will, and it'll be a historical and teaching lesson for all of those that visit to learn about the history of the state of Florida. So I am very excited about that. And if you just want to go on a trail ride, there's a herd up there of more than 40 horses. So it's a great place to take your family and enjoy the community. Really lovely.
Very good. Your neighbor's page is starts off with this Flagler Beach event that's coming up called Hang 8. I mean, I don't understand. Hang 8? What is that? What is that?
I can explain it. Well,
Hang 8? It's a surfing competition.
One of our favorite media personalities in town figured out that people have 10 toes.
That's where you hang 10.
Canines only have 4. So
the
they can
dogs
only
would hang
hang
the 8.
4
Okay, yeah.
and 8 over the edge of the board. So I'm very excited about it. I happen to have, I've got dogs and horses. I'm not going to put a horse on the surfboard.
You could try horse surfing next.
But I've got 3 Australian Shepherds, and I've got one who is an athlete and loves the water. So I will be there to support, and I'd like him to be crowned.
I think
the best surfer canine in the county of Flagler.
I think if we did horses, it would have to be hang 0. I don't even think they could do hang 2. Could they?
Hang 4 if you got all 4 hoofs off.
This event is going to be May 21st. So more will be coming out about that in Flagler Beach.
Very creative idea, by the way.
Eric Cooley kind of is leading the charge there. He's a city commissioner as well.
So isn't it fun when government doesn't take itself too seriously and is willing to reach out and say, let's just do something fun?
Yeah. Also on this neighbors page is the Small Biz Expo. And, people can't really tell this because the camera is not zoomed in, but David Alfin has a sunburn on his face.
I do.
And he's very embarrassed by that. So tell me why you did not wear sunscreen to the Small Biz Expo.
Well, here's the thing. So I did grow up in Florida, and I actually went to a booth of friends of ours who put the sunscreen on. I'm thinking maybe they put cooking oil on instead.
You're like, I'm the mayor, I don't need sunscreen?
No, not at all. And I was surrounded by, so the count was anywhere from 5,000 to 6,000 people,
wow,
according to our local chamber, actually toured during the day town center around that beautiful lake. So we were really excited to have all these small businesses. I mean, it was amazing. And everybody had a smile. Everybody had a good time. And people were interested. It was just fun.
That's great. So there were lots of vendors. Huge list in the ad that we had last week that I was surprised with. So going on to page 13, if you're following along with us at home with your own copy, which is free in racks and stands everywhere, by the way. If you want to subscribe for your driveway, you can do that on our website, palmcoastobserver.com/subscribe. Randy Buckles. Have you ever met Randy Buckles?
I'm not sure we've actually met.
So he's been doing the barbecuing at Cracker Day for 30-something years. And he was the person who was honored they always honor somebody at Cracker Day. The rodeo every year. It's a big deal in West Flagler.
I've been there many times. Unfortunately, we did have the conflict, but I've eaten Randy Buckles barbecue.
Have you ever finished the lunch? It's like mammoth, isn't it?
Yes, it is. They have nice tables, and it's
very large.
You socialize because you get to sit with people that you may not see all the time. It's it's very much a rodeo kind of an atmosphere. People actually come dressed. I mean, I saw county commissioners in
real
cowboy hats,
cowboy
boots, and all kinds of stuff. But my favorite is actually to watch the barrel racers.
Yep.
But the best event of all is the boot race. So where all the kids take off their boots, they throw them in a big pile, and whoever can find their set of boots first becomes a winner. It is just it's better than the chicken race.
Very cool. So congrats to Randy Buckles. Also,
yes.
I just want to mention Danny Jones. He was a longtime manager of Washington Oaks Garden State Park. It's another kind of hidden gem in the community north in the county. But Danny Jones died in August of 2021, and some people, including family members, went there recently to go honor him and donate some money in his honor. So thanks for Danny Jones for serving the community.
Thank you.
We just have a minute left, so we're going to be quickly future problem solvers.
I have a comment on that.
Yeah, please do.
So a lot of our listeners probably have heard the term before. I mean, these are incredible kids, but I need to add to that. These kids are, to some extent, incredible because they have mentors, whether it's parents, whether it's siblings, whether it's other people in the community. This is a collaborative effort between students and other people that mentor them into this incredible success. And I think does your family also have experience with it?
Yeah, my sons have been involved with it, and they went to international competition, and it's a really great thing. It's so great because now if they have like a hard time, like, Dad, I can't fit this into the freezer, then I get to say, you are an internationally renowned problem solver. I think you can figure this out.
Therein lies the mentorship that we're talking about.
Exactly. Anyway, we're out of time. Thank you for joining us on Observer Now this week in the Palm Coast Observer. Next week at 11. We'll see you then.